All right. Okay. Tell me about yourself.
Oh, okay. Why don't we go with
Okay.
Mr. Roxborough?
Okay. Tell me about yourself.
My name is Jim Roxborough. I've been a student of Grandmaster Kong since 1974. I'm a fifth dan under Master Kong. I've known Mr. John Nesbitt since 1974, and we've trained together for many years under Master Kong. John and I participated in many demonstrations together and many tournaments together, individually and as a team. Probably one of my most memorable experiences with Mr. Nesbitt was at a tournament in Berkeley. We competed against a very good team, and we ended up doing very well. And Mr. Nesbitt was a leader of our team and kept us focused and motivated in that tournament.
Okay. Tell me about yourself.
Okay, my name is Bob Okamoto. I started with Master Kong in 1967. So actually, I started under Mr. Yu first, and then Master Che, and then Master Kong. I can remember a time when a lot of the senior belts would practice together. I was a white belt at the time, and one school came over to our school and practiced, and they were all maybe 215 pounds and above. And then the time our school worked out with them, someone got injured, and Mr. Nesbitt had just started. He was actually just a white belt at the time, but he'd had experience in martial art training and also, significant skills before that. So one of our seniors, Ed Dunn, said, "John, looks like you need to spar these guys first." And John says, "Why?" And then Ed Dunn said, "Well, it's because you're the only one who can work against them." So that was my introduction, because John was, anytime you work with John, it was never a competition. He'd always work with you. But he also had this great ability to work with other people and spar. And it was an inspiration for us when we started out. So those sort of my memories of how started out with Mr. Nesbitt.
Okay. How about the question like, is there a specific story or specific event, memory that you can talk about experience with John? An experience with John that's a specific story or an event.
Well, let's see. Yeah, I remember training with John one-on-one. We actually would train together regularly in the afternoons doing various sparring sessions. And John is a very powerful man with extensive military background and martial art background. And I was relatively young in the martial arts, but I was always impressed with John's smoothness and his ability to help me train hard without holding me down, so to speak. And I remember one incident in particular where John and I were training very hard, and I ended up throwing him, and I was surprised that I was able to do that. But I think he was helping me to realize my abilities by allowing me to throw him. But he was very intense at the same time, and he pushed you very hard, and he was a very difficult person to spar on one hand, but at the same time he has a very great fluidness about him in his training and sparring, and I know the other seniors that have trained with him for many years always appreciated that.
One of the things I remember, and I always remember about John, is his self-control. In tournaments, sometimes you're pushed to the limit, and some people, in order to win, they're pushed the rules. they make contact, for example, in the non-contact tournament. And I never seen John do that, even when other folks were not playing by the rules. In one match that I was refereeing, one of the competitors had these gloves, and I didn't know at the time that the gloves were lead lined. And so anytime he made contact with somebody, he'd injure them. And John sparred him. The guy was making, full power movements against him, but John's ability was that he was able to handle the motions. And I asked him later on, probably years later as well, this guy was playing unfairly. Well, did you ever think about countering full power like the way he was doing? And he said, no, you never go there, because that's the martial spirit. You learn control. You learn the way of bettering yourself and learning how, in many ways, how to control and not to fight. Whereas his opponent did not learn that lesson. But he's one of the few tournament sparrers that I've seen that really exhibited that type of control in tournaments.
Okay. What do you see most unique about John? Unless you already answered that question. Is there anything?
John truly reflects the martial art spirit, in that he's, as I mentioned, he's a very powerful man with a lot of years of experience. And he has deadly skills, but at the same time he's very calm in his approach, and he's very considerate of others, and he leads by example. And in this day and age, martial arts has become flashy, fancy uniforms, just about winning tournaments, but martial arts is much deeper than that, and John truly understands the three areas that we have learned under Master Kong, which is belief, and respect, and appreciation. And John reflects those in his daily life.
Okay. Yeah, his goal for the martial arts are like a vehicle. It can take you somewhere. Some people's goal is just to win a tournament, others is just for self-defense. But there's a higher direction or road that you can take in practicing the martial arts. And since I've known him, he's always been trying to use the martial arts as that vehicle to learn a deeper understanding about oneself and not to be too much of a cliche about life.
Okay. Okay, good.